Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Nation. That's Barbecue Nation. I'm JT, along with, not this week, though, Leanne Whippen. Camaro Dave, Commander Chris are running around in the background. And we would definitely like to thank the folks at Painted Hills Natural Beef, beef the way nature intended. You can check them out online at naturalbeef.com. And also, we'd like to thank Leanne for her pig powder. I actually have some few bottles left here in my office from an event we did before we went back to the Jack. And I'm going to thank her a lot for that because that'll probably get me through the winter. Anyway, so as you know, we were just back at the Jack and we did a bash at Byron's house. The tech stuff on that didn't work out as well as we'd hoped, but we met a lot of great people. And some of them that we met are these three characters from Alaska: Jason, Tom, and Shane from Big J's Barbecue. And
Bears Den. It's Bears Den.
I was getting to that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. And the Bears Den Barbecue, and they competed in the Jack, and it was their first time to compete at the Jack. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
So, first of all, like I said when we were talking back there, people don't normally think of competitive barbecue in Alaska. I mean, I don't know why. It makes sense to me, but then a lot of things make sense to me that don't make sense to other people. But Jason, when you and you've got a barbecue company up there, how did you get all involved in this? You're going to kind of sound like you're going to repeat the story from what we did in Tennessee, but these folks probably haven't heard much of it.
I started watching that Pitmaster show, and it really got me interested in the sport, and I just kind of started watching that and started competing. And we had a barbecue association up there in the Fairbanks that, they pretty much everyone moved away and left it to us to take over. So we've kind of taken it over and kept it going, and we have about three good KCBS style events a year is what we're trying to go for, and a lot of SCA events up here.
So do you have a lot of interest in it though? I mean,
not really.
It's scattered, but you have a lot at different times because you have a lot of military presence up here. So you'll have guys that might get into it, but then they're only here for a couple of years and they leave.
Right. Right.
Doing things in the summer is really hard too because everyone, you got to compete with fishing, camping, honey-do lists, stuff like that. So it's hard to get people to come out and give a weekend up for a style event.
I would think you'd probably get a lot of volunteers to get out of that honey-do list deal.
Yeah.
But but that would be the top one to scratch off. But as far as camping, hunting, and fishing, maybe not so much. When you do your KCBS or your SCA events there, how's the turnout? And is the public, I mean, these things take a long time to develop. You don't just do it, go bingo, bango, bongo, and they're right there. Is it starting to grow?
It feels like it is. We have an event at the beginning of it's in April. It's called the Breakup Shakeup, and that's our biggest one usually. We have I think the most we've had was
it's like 15, 16 teams last
15, 16 teams. Harry Sue came up for it and hung out, and it was pretty cool. That was our biggest one. I think we had about 16 teams.
Is he wearing his hat?
Yeah, what did he? Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah. I tried to set him up with a new hat deal because I used to be in that business, but I don't know if he ever got it done because I keep telling Harry that's not the way cowboys wear their hats, but it's that's his deal. So how did you get invited to the Jack?
Well, we competing in the state championship up here. That's the one event that we have that gives us the opportunity to go to the Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And we won our state championship this year and got the invite, and then started the planning from there. And luckily we had a bunch of sponsors. The company me and Shane worked for, Three Bears Alaska, jumped on board and sponsored to get us down there.
So when you went, I know you probably borrowed grills and smokers or whatever you were using, but did you take like your own knives and stuff?
We did. We all three took a lot of different stuff, some seasonings, whatever we could pack in the bags. Get 2 free bags with Alaska Airlines. So
Yep.
it worked out pretty good. We could pack all that. And then we had a lot of things shipped. Rick Morris was our ambassador down there, kind of sponsored us with his barbecue trailer and
Mm-hmm.
anything else that we needed there at his house for the first couple of days. So it worked out really nice. Pam Hess actually set us up with him, and he took care of everything we needed. It was a huge help.
What did you learn? I'm going to go to each one of you on this. So I'll start with Mr. Talkative over there on my left, Shane. What's the biggest thing you learned on this whole trip? Speak up.
Drinking after we're done.
Drink when you're done cooking.
Okay. And Jason, what'd you learn?
I learned how much fun that really was. Like, I mean, I was kind of getting burnt out on the competitive side of this, of the KCBS stuff, but this really reignited that passion. So I think I learned how to have fun at an event again, mostly because I'm not the one throwing it.
Yeah. Well, and you're at the top.
Yeah.
You don't get higher than that. You know, I mean, there's arguments that have been for years of which is better, the Royal, the Jack, some of the other cook-offs, Memphis in May. But to me, they're all on that same level, the Jack being a little higher because it's a invite only type thing. So you went from Wasilla to the top of the world there. Yeah.
Amazing.
Tom, what about you? What did you learn?
How I learned that what we do in Alaska with the events, at the level we're at here competing, things are relatively simple. Getting things there, the logistics side of getting somewhere to the lower 48 for us up here, and I'm the international teams would probably agree. There's a lot more involved in just getting there. Just being able to get there and actually compete is a huge task. But seeing that level of competition and the teams that were there and how open and friendly everybody was, the barbecue community itself is just amazing. I mean, you get a chance to talk to people and they're right there with you, talking to you, sharing ideas. Everybody just was willing to help. If you need anything, hey, come ask. So I think the biggest thing for me was just the camaraderie that's actually within that whole community was incredible. Out of Byron's, meeting you guys, it was
awesome.
just, it was absolutely amazing.
So cool.
Experience for us. I mean, it could be a once in a lifetime experience for anybody, but getting to see how people actually react down there to get even one call on a category is absolutely huge to be in that top 10.
Oh, yeah.
So it was an amazing experience for us.
I noticed that you had your picture taken with Leanne, but you didn't want one with me. I wonder why that is. I don't know.
I was wondering that the other day how we didn't get one with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Next time we cross paths, we'll do that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'll come up and go fishing with you.
Yes.
You talk about getting there and the camaraderie. I noticed that while we were standing there talking to Jason, they brought over one of the, well, it's right behind you, I think, Jason, one of the barrel heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody was walking around getting the other teams to sign their barrel head and this type of thing. And that kind of told me a lot about, like you said, Tom, the camaraderie. I grew up in another competitive world, and you never shared a secret ever. It was just wasn't done. And when I got into barbecue and saw how open and friendly the folks were, it kind of set me back a little bit, because, if you ask a question, you'll get an answer.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the cool things about it. And that doesn't matter whether it's KCBS or SCA or any of that. I think people are always willing to share. And, back and forth, they pick up stuff from you, things they've never seen or done like that. So I think that's one of the good things about it. How would you rate your trip overall on a scale of 1 to 10?
15.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at old Roast Cheeks over there sitting in the corner. He was doing the drinking thing afterwards. Did you get that covered, Shane? You get You got that
Yeah.
handled?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we learned our lesson a couple of years ago on that.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys have to pack him to the truck or anything?
Well, we didn't have far to go to the motorhome, so we were pretty good.
Okay. Well, just checking on him. I like that kid. He's good. He takes all the guff I give him pretty well. Are you going to be able to use what you learned there, like Jason, when you come back and do your, at the barbecue company?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have those cones out here. Hopefully November 4th, we're gonna do a little unveiling. We're gonna have the pork for people to try out, and some cones too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I got to ask you, did you guys eat a turkey leg while you were there? There was an old guy in a school bus that had turkey legs. I actually found him and ate one, and they were pretty good.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
did not have one.
It looked good on the beards
Yeah.
because it looked good on my shirt. So I know it looked good on the beards, man. It was
Just try 'em
really,
next year.
yeah, do that. Are you planning on taking a run at it again next year?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How long do you think you can keep this up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till they tell you to go home?
I guess
Yeah.
I guess till I'm in a wheelchair at least.
Okay. Can you fish in Alaska in a wheelchair?
You can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's okay. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to be back with Jason, Tom, and Shane. Jason is the proprietor of Big J's Barbecue up in Wasilla, Alaska, and these other two yahoos tag along and poke him with a bear, or they poke the bear, I should say. Anyway, we're going to be right back. Don't go with us. You're listening to Barbecue Nation on the USA Radio Network. Yeah. Get too many messages here, guys. Here we go. Welcome back to Barbecue Nation. I'm JT. Leanne is off across the pond this week, so I'm flying solo. It's really easy to get in contact with us. Just go to the easiest way is to go to barbecuenationjt.com. There's a little thing down there, a little info thing you can fill out that comes directly to me. And if it's more geared towards Leanne, I usually send her the ones that people aren't very friendly in. I send her those. She can deal with those. And I take the real happy campers. Anyway, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. We're all over the place, and all the platforms that you usually listen to your podcasts on the podcast version of the show, like Apple, Captivate, iHeart, all of those were there. So we got Bear's Den here, right? How did you come up with that? Is that from the company that supports you?
Well, kind of how everything got started for us. Shane did a competition one year in Houston, just a little place outside of Wasilla, and walked away with a win and pulled pork. And the next year I said, hey, I'll come out there and do it too. So we started doing it, and then as we started learning and actually doing a little better, we had to come up with a team name, and we work for Three Bears Alaska. So we just kind of said, hey, Bears Den Barbecue sounds good. So we did that, and then the company jumped on board, and they've kind of sponsored us with entry fees and things throughout. And then with this one, they just jumped in feet first, and we're ready.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, it's really, really been great, the support we've gotten with it. So we've been competing like that, and then we with Jason doing what he does with the barbecue company, his barbecue business and everything, it just fit, and we all get along really well and work well together. So we all kind of have something we do. Like Shane, he's a meat cutter, so I mean he can take care of the meat and do trimming and do all kinds of stuff way quicker than what we can.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And then we all just kind of pitch in and go after it as quick as we can. Works out great for us.
Good. Now, Shane, you're going to have to talk on this one. I'm telling you, as a professional meat cutter, first of all, when you first saw people cutting up and trimming briskets and stuff for competition, did it make sense to you? And then what did you bring from your, everyday life as a meat cutter to the table, so to speak, and in trimming and prepping the meats for competition?
I would say competition trim made absolutely no sense to me right off the bat.
Yeah.
there's so much waste that goes into what you do for just that competition look. And then what I bring, I have a pretty good eye for what is quality meat, and I'm able to trim very effectively, to like turn in like the money muscle off the pork, or
Sure.
get the brisket fat lined out right, or trimming chicken, like chicken wings. I did pretty good with the skins this year, peeling that
Yeah.
stuff off. So I'm able to bring that.
What do you guys use? Do you use parsley or whatever in your boxes? And the reason I ask this is when I was wandering around out there one day, I saw the guys, a team out of they're between Houston and Beaumont, Texas, but they were using kale, and I thought, wow, somebody found a real use for kale, because
Yeah, that's
Is that-
actually what me and Shane have used more than anything was kale. Some of the teams up here, we've seen them using green leaf lettuce. They wrap it in saran wrap and then slice it to the thickness you want for your box, and then put 4 rounds in there and get it, and it looks really clean. And that's actually what we did this year. We got the green leaf lettuce down there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Jason had those boxes looking pristine with that. So he had messed with that before. Normally me and Shane are sitting there tearing all the leaves off the kale and getting them in there as best we can. So
there were 4 guys sitting on the Texas team I was talking about. There were 4 guys sitting like at a picnic table, and they had this big case, 2 of them actually, of kale, right? And they're just what you were saying there, Tom. They're pulling little this and that, and I'm standing there looking at them, and I'm kind of chuckling, and they look at me like, "What are you laughing at?" And I thought, well, and I, of course, being the professional smartass that I am, I said, well, we finally found a good use for kale. And some of them laughed, and some of them were like, why? I eat this stuff all the time. Well, I feel sorry for you, like that. Did it take you a while when you started to, if you hadn't been down to the lower 48 and seen the competition, you probably saw videos on YouTube, you saw different things like that. But until you actually saw one live to see how they prepped their boxes, how they trimmed to drive Shane nuts, that type of thing. Because I agree with him. I mean, I've had, now I don't compete. I had enough competition in my life, my other job, but I do events with people and different things like that. And you get somebody up there, and the professional meat cutters say the same thing that Shane does. God, you guys waste a ton, and I'm kind of in that boat, but I know they're looking for that perfect look. So if you hadn't really seen that in person before, how did you adapt to that?
same way Jason, I mean, he was watching YouTube videos, looking up trimming brisket and competition chicken, things like that. Just did searches on it and find them, and we watched the videos, and then trial and error, practicing and learning.
Shout out to Harry Sue, because a lot of the stuff he came up and gave us a little class too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'll tell you, if you ever bring Leanne up there, I don't know if you'd have to pay her, but if you take her fishing, she'll probably teach you everything you ever need to know about competition barbecue, because she loves to fish. But I always find that interesting that, like Shane was saying, there's a lot of waste. Yeah, but that's for a particular reason. But I don't know what they sell in the stores up there, but Shane, do they sell just like the flats?
Well, we sell primarily the whole
Do you? The whole packer?
All my meat guys will split them for them. I'm the buyer for Three Bears. I oversee.
Okay.
For the
All
company.
right.
That's kind of how me and Shane got to be friends. Is I used to always have them split my point from my flat, because it was cooked faster, and I always thought it was better bark and stuff. So they cut and wrap for free. I was like, hey, do you guys mind separating them? So they've done, I don't know, countless briskets for me that way.
Sure. Well, it's a lot of work too. I mean, if you don't do it on a daily basis, it takes a little while to get a handle on that, because pretty soon you're stabbing it, and you're like Hitchcock movie stuff, because it's not working. But you learn how to do that, and it works out pretty good. We are going to take another break. And we're going to be back with the boys from Bears Den Barbecue Competition Team, Jason, Tom, and Shane. And Jason, of course, has Big J's Barbecue in Wasilla. And if you know that name Wasilla rings a bell, there'll be a test on it later. Anyway, we're going to be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Barbecue Nation. I'm JT with the rest of the crew here, and we'd like to thank the guys for staying with us today from Bears Den Barbecue. We'd also like to thank Painted Hills Natural Beef, beef the way nature intended. If you do not have Painted Hills in your area, you can go online. They've created a kind of a nifty little online store. And if you want to order something, that's fine. And before you check out, here's the pitch. In the coupon area or code, just type in BBQ Nation. That's all you do, BBQ Nation, and they will ship it right to you. You get 15% off for that. And also pig powder. We talked about it earlier in the show. Trim Tabs pig powder was developed by Jim Tab. That's Leanne's father. And it actually won the Best Rub on the Planet Award. And it's used by winning pit masters for a long time now. You can find it online in some selective stores around. All you got to do is go to pigpowder.com. Leanne will tell you that she uses Byron's butt rub and combines her pig powder with it. And that's what she uses in competition. So little footnote there for you guys like that. Yeah. Evidently it works because she still wins once in a while when she goes out there. So if you had anything to, and I'll get an answer from each of you on this. If you had anything to change, something you saw, something you did, the way things turned out for you, what would be one thing that you might change in what your team does? We'll start with Tom.
As far as change, I'd say our timing on starting when we started, we kind of maybe overshot it a little too early, getting started on the brisket and the pulled pork.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously the pork turned out fantastic. It can hold a little better. Brisket sometimes, even holding it in a Cambro, it tends to tighten up a little bit on you.
Right.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing I would change is just adjusting our times a little bit to where we had our start cook set up, and everything else seemed to work out pretty smooth. We didn't have any problems with turn-ins or anything. We had everything pretty set with that. So
did you make Shane run? Was Shane the runner?
Actually, I did.
Okay.
Tom walks so fast. I mean, I have long legs, and I was like, "Slow down."
He's always yelling at me to slow down. So the old guy walks faster.
That's that Army training.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad was in the Army, and I learned how to march very early in my life like that. Jason, what did you think? Is there one thing that you can put your finger on that you might change or do a little differently?
More sleep. Trying to get more sleep.
Well, that ain't gonna happen. So give up on that stuff.
We had too much fun. I mean, we had a great time. So I mean, there's not much I would say we changed about it other than trying to get to bed earlier and like Tom said, time management is key. So.
Well, I think it's like being a freshman in college, kind of. You know, you get there, your eyes are kind of big, you're meeting all these people, you're doing fun stuff, and pretty soon it's 4 a.m. and you got to get up, like that. Next year, you guys go back to your sophomore year, you'll be much better. All right, Shane, Mr. Talker, jump in here, buddy. What was one thing that you would change?
We had an Oklahoma Joe available to us, and I think I would have brought that along. If we do it again, I would have brought that with us. That's what we cook on up here. I think it would have been nice to have that with us there.
Yeah. So what all did you cook on? Did you just do barrels or what?
No, we were actually old school down there. We cooked all night. We didn't sleep. So we had Rick Morris hooked us up with his trailer. He had a whole barbecue trailer set up with a big reverse flow offset smoker. So we used an offset. the whole time.
And we did the wings on a Weber.
Yeah,
kettle.
did the wings on a Weber kettle.
Whatever kettle like that. How did you feel your scores were? Because everybody gets scored there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the scores were good. They weren't where we wanted to be or feel we could be.
Right.
The chicken and the brisket we didn't fare as well on. Was pretty happy with. I mean, you had to be happy with the 7th place in pork. We were 29th in sauce, so that we were actually pretty happy with that because that's something we really hadn't done before.
Right.
Obviously, dessert. That was kind of a last minute whim. I actually had to email Pam and ask her, "Hey, I didn't sign up for the dessert, but could we go ahead and get into that?" And I asked Jason if he'd be willing to do something that they do up here frequent. So we just had to make some changes and come up with some different ideas specific to the jack, which it worked out obviously great. As far as the ribs, I think we could have definitely done a little bit better. Part of it was, the learning on a different. None of us had used a reverse flow that big.
Right.
I mean, we literally used Oklahoma Joe Highlands is what we use. Jason's tinkered around with barrels, the drums and such, but it was a learning curve with that, trying to get it right. But it ran great the whole time. It just had me tending fire literally the whole night.
So did you get one call or two?
Two. We actually got first in dessert and took 7th in pork.
That's what I thought. But yeah. For a first time crew, that's pretty damn good, really.
Oh, we were very happy.
Very happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Did Shane get excited at all, or did he just continue drinking?
I was pretty pumped about that part.
Were you? Okay, good. Good. Well, I know when you're kind of on the outside, and I got all the printouts of all the different scores and stuff like that, and I know the Polish team, because they were on the deal we did it at Byron's too.
Right.
They didn't fare very well. I'm not picking on them, but I stopped by there when I stopped by and saw you, Jason, on Friday and did that. And they were making some stock, and the guy said, well, we do this and we put some butter in it, and that's what we inject in here. And I thought, that's probably a lovely tasting chicken, but I'm not sure that's going to do for these guys up on the hill, so to speak, like that. And, but if they're happy with it, they can do it. They were tickled to be there. But I think when you're competing at that level, you have to pay attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sure. Excuse me.
It's a lot more. It's a lot more than what. I mean, we've done competitions up here. Like, it's not the same up here, obviously, as if we were in Houston or Kansas City or Virginia or somewhere where they're doing a lot of competitions and the different levels of the amount of competition that's their competitors that are there. But as far as for us, I mean, it was seeing what other people are doing and kind of trying to not change what we did, because we actually had some advice from one of the teams up here that's really good up here. He told us, go down there and do what you guys do. Don't change what you do based on the level of competition you're going against.
Right.
So it gave us the opportunity to do what we did, but we did not inject our chicken. Something we'll definitely be doing from now on. It wasn't dry, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't probably where it should have been.
Sure.
Little things like that we were able to pick up on and see what other people were doing, and it's
Brisket
just
too.
the brisket too. There was so much to take in. I mean, just being there, it took a while, just surreal even being there. But to sit and see what everybody's doing and walk around, see the other teams and what they're cooking on, it's a huge intake of information all at once. So it just kind of floods you, and then we sat back, and then after we got back, we've kind of been talking about it off and on, just the different things that we've seen and things that we want to do. And
right. Yeah, it's a different world.
It is.
We've talked about it, forever on the show, but if you're competing like that, the product that you're turning into the competition to the judges is probably not what you're going to serve at home. on a regular basis, you know, because they're going for that one bite gotcha, you know, on their palate, and that one rings a bell to them like that, or rings their bell. And I don't know is a lot of people really have that concept yet. They're working on it, and we preach it a lot on this show. But what you're going to do at home, what you're going to do in the restaurant or the barbecue business, you know, is not going to be the same. Now, I've had some people on the show say, oh, it's absolutely the same. And I thought, well, if you did that, you probably don't do a hell of a lot of catering jobs, because they probably hire you once and then they don't do it the next time because it's too strong. The flavor profiles are too strong. And you know, but live and learn. People certainly can do what they wish. Are you going to look at changing your flavor profiles at all? Or are you going to stay with the basic profile and then kind of look at enhancing it as you go forward?
I think for the brisket, it'll probably be the one that enhancing more so. Chicken, we like the flavor profiles that we got, just needed to be a little stronger, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. Saucing things, that's one of the things that we have been working on and adjusting, because our ribs sometimes it was a little too thick, so you get it looks great, but it's too much sauce on there for the judges. We've gotten that comment. As far as we never sauce our pulled pork. The pork that we turned in down there was not sauced, and we find that actually works out the best. So
I think that works out the best, Tom, for really a lot of people, because if they want sauce, the way I look at it is
on the side,
it's over on the side, and you can put as much of that stuff on there as you want.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will in my personal life, and when I'm doing TV stuff, I'll put a little tiny thin glaze on it and make it kind of shiny so it's pretty for the camera. But that's not how you'll get them if you come to my house. You know, there'll be a bucket of sauce over there with a mop and ladle and whatever you want, but you know, I'm not going to sauce them up. You're going to have to do that.
Yep.
We got to take one more break here on Barbecue Nation, come back and wrap up the show. And the guys are going to stay with me for after hours and the lightning round. So we're talking to the Bear Den team from Wasilla, Alaska. We're going to talk about Wasilla too, or Wasilla, however you pronounce it. But we're going to take a break. We're going to be right back after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to the nation. That's Barbecue Nation. I'm JT. Ms. Whippen is, I think she went to a wedding and then had a couple of competitions she was judging or something over in England. Seriously, I don't know exactly what she was doing. I know she was just excited to go, and I was excited to see her go. So that was all it. And don't forget, you can contact us. Just go to the Barbecue Nation JT website. There's a contact form there. You can do that, or you can send it like an info to the Cowboy Cook, one of those deals here. So we got Tom, Shane, and Jason with us. Did you buy enough candy for the parade? I was looking at those pictures, and Jason, your hand was down in this bag, but that bag was bulging, man. And I was like, you know, there was 27.
You seen the size of his hand, though, right?
Yeah, I have. There, yeah, that's part of the bear thing, I think. But you know, I was looking at that today, and I went, holy crap, I was kind of at the end of the parade route, and you still had a half a bag of candy there.
I nailed a few kids in the head on accident. I felt bad.
I saw some older ladies out there, because some of the little kids and their moms were there, and they already had a pretty good pouch full of candy, and then they were just leaving some on the street. Some of these old ladies were coming in, kind of elbowing their way through the line and picking up that candy on the street like that. That was pretty good. So, how did you all end up in Wasilla or thereabouts?
Well, myself, I got stationed up here in the Army,
Right.
Then got back once and then came back up again, and I retired up here. Knew it was where I wanted to stay. I love it the outdoors and the opportunities up here. And Jason,
I lived in Anchorage for a long time, and it's Well, still it's so much cheaper and you get a lot more land for what
for the dollar.
yeah. And Anchorage is kind of turned into a cesspool. It's kind of like they call it low sinkerage now. It's turning into like I don't know.
Turning into Portland and Seattle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh my God. How about you, Shane?
I'm born and raised right here.
You gonna stay there?
I don't have any plans on leaving.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Well, I gotta tell you, the one time I was in Alaska, I loved it. It was beautiful. Ran into some kind of gnarly sled dogs. But that's a different story for a bar some night. But did that. And then the fishing on the Kenai. I think I told you we fished all day. The guy I was with, we never even got a strike or a bite or anything. And we were properly hung over. But some guy and his daughter, they hooked one, and that was the only one they hooked. All I know is I got really sunburned and really dehydrated out there all day long. So, but we'll give that another shot one of these days. Is your guys' success at the Jack and you just being there and competing, do you think that's going to help grow, expand the barbecue competitions in your area?
Sure, hope so. We're trying really hard to get new fresh blood in there. We got speaking of Kenai, we got a whole new group of people down there that are doing a bunch of competitions now down there. So hopefully we'll see some of them will come up this way, and we're gonna definitely try and make it down that way as much as possible. It's beautiful down there. We love it.
How far? What's the distance?
About 3 hour drive.
Yeah, about a 3-hour drive.
That's not bad.
It's a beautiful drive too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, when some of these people drive 17, 18 hours to get to a competition, they live in Georgia and they drive to Missouri or Colorado or someplace. I mean, that's a little far for you guys at times, but I would think that a 3 or 4 hour drive isn't that bad to go to a comp.
No, we did for our state competition this year. We drove about 6 hours to get up to Delta Junction. So,
and how far are you from Anchorage?
about 45 minutes.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad.
For everyone from Anchorage is moving out here.
Right.
Yeah. And what about Juneau?
Juneau's a flight.
That's a flight.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to take
Or
a ferry.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay. I'm usually pretty good at geography from all my travels, but that whole Alaska trip was a bit of a blur for me back then. It's a little foggy, you might say, like that. If you had your choice, if you had your your level, your goal is the word I'm looking for. How big would you like to see the competition barbecue circuit become in Alaska? And the other thing is, could you do it in the wintertime up there?
You can. I mean, it's a little different doing it in the wintertime. We cook all year round. Obviously Jason does for his business, and me and Shane, we do like our company, our corporate office Christmas party. And last year we did 4 prime rib, and it was -26 on those highlands, those offsets. We don't put a blanket or anything over. You just burn a little bit more fuel, but you just have a lot of inside and outside trips.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We've been talking about doing like they used to do this thing up in Fairbanks called the BBQ, and it was just quick cooks like Cornish hens or tri-tip or steak.
Yeah.
It might be good for a steak SCA kind of thing. But the big 4, I couldn't see staying there all night for a brisket or a pork butt.
No, that might be a little rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could see some quick cooks, like you said. I think that would probably work out pretty good. But you never know what people will do. One of the questions I used to ask in the after hour segment coming up is, what's the worst place you ever had to cook, or have you ever cooked in a snowstorm in your underwear? you guys could actually answer that question. Most people go, I don't know, like that. But Chris Lilly told us one time that, yeah, he did cook in his underwear, and they were at the Jack, and they had a storm come in, and he got his kid out of the front of the truck and him out of the camper or whatever they had. And they were out there in their underwear trying to keep the fire going and set the tent back up because it had blown over. So maybe you guys can top that story next time you're on the show.
All right.
You think that'd work for you?
I think so.
I think so. But like I was saying, what's your ultimate goal? Would you like to get 50 teams in Alaska?
That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, we would love to be able to see teams like that. If we could
We'd
get
love
up,
to get 25. So
25,
we get the American
yeah.
Royale invite.
yeah, 25 would be fantastic to be able to get as well.
Do you have plenty of resources? I mean, stick burners, obviously there's wood up there, but do you have lots of pellets and
Absolutely.
of course
There's
B&B probably they're pretty much everywhere, Kingsford or whatever, but do you have those types of resources that other people just take for granted?
It's a little more challenging, I'd say, to get certain things. Pellets, charcoal, wood, it's here, but for us, we're getting it from like Lowe's or Home Depot or Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
Those are the places that we have to go get it from. We don't have the access like down there where you can go see a guy and cut some wood down that they got dead on the property.
Right.
Get some good oak or hickory or something like that. Up here, it's pretty much spruce.
Some guys use
And
a lot of
birch.
birch. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some birch. People are using the birch, alder.
Yeah.
We got alder up here, but everybody uses the alder for fish.
Yeah. Well, where I grew up, we had a lot of alder, a lot of fir, and we used the alder and apple. We had a lot of fruit trees, most of them wild apple trees. And so we would use that when we smoked fish and stuff. Stayed away from the fir because it got a little too pitchy at times,
Yeah.
like that and do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you for being with us. And like I said, the guys are going to stay with us for after hours, but I'm actually proud of you. And I was very happy to meet you back there. And I think I could say a job well done for you for your first trip there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
that.
Yeah, it is good. We'll be back next week with another edition of Barbecue Nation. Maybe Miss Whippen will be back from across the pond. I have no idea. But until then, we thank you for listening. And remember our motto here, turn it, don't burn it. Take care, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome to After Hours here on Barbecue Nation. I'm JT. As I told you before, Miss Whippen is out of town, but she will be back. We've got the boys from Bear's Den barbecue team that were at the Jack and Big J's barbecue. I like that. See, I had red hair too when I was a little younger there, Jason. So there's still some under the hat, but not too much. But this is where I take a little time to abuse you. And so and make you think. So we'll start with this, okay? We'll start with an easy one for you. If you could cook with or cook for and then dine with a historical figure, who would it be and what would be on the menu?
That's a tough one.
Let's start with Jason. He's got a smirk on his face. So
Let's see here. I'd love to feed Gandhi some ribs. Put some meat on his bones.
yeah. Okay. Tom?
Man, that makes you think. I'd probably say somebody like MacArthur.
Yeah.
Douglas MacArthur. I think somebody like that would be really interesting to be able to just talk to and have dinner with like that after cooking. And I'd say some nice steak.
Yeah.
Some steaks.
Sure. Shane?
Man, I don't know. Something some of my grandpa used to talk about was FDR. So I cook something for FDR.
There you go. You like to eat. What's the worst thing you've ever eaten?
Black olives.
Black olives.
Black olive. I
I'm
like
gonna say chitlins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I gave it a try, but it just wasn't. Couldn't do it.
What's that native ice cream we make up here?
Eskimo ice cream.
Eskimo ice cream. It's like
Yeah,
berries mixed with whale blubber
and caribou fat.
and caribou fat.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty.
That'd be like instant hurl on my part. Just projectile vomiting 101. You know, like that. Name something in the barbecue and cooking world that you were hot on for a while and then changed your mind.
Man.
Besides black olives, Shane.
I don't know. That's a really tough one.
See, this is why we don't ask these on the regular show.
Yeah,
So we don't
that's-
have all this dead air. So,
Yeah, that was a challenge.
well, let me rephrase it. Who is someone that, and I'm talking about the barbecue world, who is someone that has really gotten your attention in the last year? Maybe somebody that came to see you guys, somebody you met at the Jack, somebody you see on TV.
in the last year, I'd say. I mean, I've watched. I think Myron Mixon probably is the one that's always caught me the most.
Yeah.
Watching a lot of his shows and stuff, and matter of fact, right before we went down, we were doing a practice run at the house, and we were watching barbecue pitmasters.
Stretch.
Stretch, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say Stretch probably would be him and Brad both probably the characters that would catch your eye the most.
Did you
Well,
get
we
to
met
hang
him.
with Stretch at all? He is a wild man.
A little bit down there, yeah.
Yeah, he's
That was pretty fun.
we've had a lot of fun with him over the years. Okay. If you could teach a politician to barbecue or cook, who would it be? And what would you teach him?
Live or dead?
I don't care. A lot of them in my book should be the latter, not the former, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of hard to say you want to hang out with any politicians these days.
Yeah, that's not a no. That's a
I don't know, politician. All honesty, I'd say if I was going to say politician, it would be Reagan. But even though he wasn't really a politician, so to speak, I think it'd be pretty cool to do that. And chicken thighs would be it because it's so much damn work.
yeah.
I wouldn't mind eating Sarah Palin a rib also.
I mean, is she still hanging around?
Just to keep her mouth shut. No, she don't live here anymore.
Doesn't she?
No.
What about
do though?
her ex-husband, Todd, was it?
Yeah, he's
Still here.
He
Yeah.
does Iron Dog,
Yeah, the
which
snow
is
machine.
the longest snow machine race in the world, quite a bit.
Huh. Where does she live now? Florida or something?
Arizona, probably.
Arizona? Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
If you could erase one mistake from history, and this can be your own personal history, what would it be and why?
One mistake from history.
Yeah.
Putting rosemary on my pulled pork one year.
Yes.
What'd you say?
Putting rosemary on his pulled pork one year in the competition.
Yeah.
That's why you don't drink.
Oh yeah.
So,
It was a lot of rosemary.
That was bad.
Yeah, the lid came off and it looked like basically it gotten rolled through a fresh cut lawn.
How'd that work out for you, Shane?
Not well.
Not well? Okay.
Lived it down
Okay.
since it happened.
So So if you could make erase a mistake from history, what would it be?
There's a lot of them. I'd say probably the need to have to go nuclear during the World War.
Yeah, that changed the world.
Yeah, it did. It absolutely did. I think that was probably one of the big ones. I mean,
Yeah.
understand the necessity for certain things, but to have to get to that level really put us in a bad place even these days. I mean, the nuclear threat that's out there is it's a mess. If it comes to that, you can forget everything pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That is true. Jason, you got one?
Well, I'm one of those guys who believe everything happens for a reason, but I don't know, women voting. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Jesus, I want this show to stay on the air,
Yeah,
man.
I can tell.
Are you married, Jason?
Not anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore. Okay. I understand completely. So, all right, because that's what you're when you responded to the Zoom thing, it had your name and a lady's name on it. And I
That's
went,
my wife. Yeah.
The boss's name.
That's my boss.
okay. All right. All right. So let's make this easy on you. If I declared you supreme ruler of barbecue for a day, what would you as supreme ruler decree?
Everyone just has fun.
That's
That's
good.
what it's all about, is having fun.
There you go.
What should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite activity in the world?
Flying.
Flying?
I'm gonna say running. God, I hated running.
Shane? Don't say rosemary.
I was gonna say eating black olives.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
He's got a serious fear of black olives.
I got a problem with those things.
You want to share why?
They ruin everything they touch. I don't know. I just can't stand them. I don't
Okay.
like olives either. But
Well, that's I get it. I get it. I'm like that with avocados. I had a run in with some avocado cheese crisps, and when I was 18 in Arizona, I was working down there, and I lost the competition, you might say, in a Christmas tree. Anyway, it's a long story, but I don't do guacamole. We raise cattle on the farm. You know why? So there you go. You remember what the first thing you got in trouble for as a kid?
Stealing.
Stealing?
Yeah.
What'd you steal? Candy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's almost a have to crime as a kid, though.
Right.
It's kind of a threshold of, growing. Tom?
I don't know about the first thing that I can remember, but I know the worst thing I remember.
Okay.
Old man had us getting firewood, me and my two brothers, and pretty tired of pulling the sled with firewood in the snow. And there's a big fir tree that was back there, so we chucked a whole bunch of those splits underneath that tree, not thinking it was going to get found. And I don't know, it wasn't too much longer. A couple weeks later, we were rabbit hunting with the old man, and walked by that tree, and he spotted that wood under there, and it hunting trip got cut short pretty quick. Back to the house with the belt. It was probably the worst one.
Yeah. Yeah. Shane?
throwing rocks at cars.
I thought you'd be throwing black olives at cars, dude.
If I had them, I would. I probably would have got less trouble.
Okay. All right. One
of those moments too.
What's your absolute favorite non-barbecue food or dish?
For me, it's corned beef hash. I don't know why, but I love breakfast corned beef hash.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Crispy.
Jason?
It's got to be crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been on eggs Benedict kick lately, and I've been going to almost every restaurant here in the valley and Anchorage. trying them all out. And I've got a list now of my favorite
Eggs Benedict.
places.
Yeah. Make that down here, and I do it here, but I do it with Dungeness crab.
See, that's what I was gonna say. Is there's a few places up here that have. There's one place that makes them with crab cakes. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
My girlfriend actually had that. We went to breakfast this morning and she had eggs Benedict with crab.
Yeah. It's
I sent him
phenomenal.
a picture. I won't say his response to me.
Okay. I understand completely on that. All right, Mr. Olives, let's go. What's your favorite?
I like good Philly cheesesteak.
There you go. There you go. If you could become instantly a master of a musical instrument, what instrument would it be?
And guitar.
Keyboard.
Violin.
Violin? Yeah.
I'm a pretty good guitar player.
Yeah, he plays guitar, so
Oh, there you go. If you were an animal, what animal would you be and why?
Cat. Because they're soft and snuggly and they don't give a shit about what people think.
That is true. That is true. Tom?
I think for me it would be an eagle.
Yeah.
I just think we see them a lot up here, but I mean it's just a cool bird. See them up close is pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We see a lot of them down at the mouth of the Columbia.
Yeah,
Down
oh, yeah.
by Astoria. and
Down
that.
by Astoria. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great stuff down there. Okay, Mr. Shane, what would you be?
I can follow suit, like a bird of prey, whether it's a hawk or eagle or any of that. That'd be
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. I don't know truly the marital status or anything, but just take this for what it's worth. What is something that your spouse or girlfriend was right about, but you still think she was wrong?
Everything. If you ask them.
Yeah.
There's too many of those to
Yeah.
pick
Yeah.
just one.
I think Jason, you should probably sit this one out after your last answer. So what's the absolute hardest thing you've ever done? Hardest, toughest.
Probably the hardest thing I've ever done is being away from the kids for a year deployed.
Yeah.
That was probably the hardest.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Jane?
Being away from my kids currently, the way it is. So
Got it.
yeah.
Jace?
Being with my kids. I'm just
Uh,
kidding.
You and I get along just great, man.
Just I don't know, working a job I hate for so long just to not make ends do. What I mean, like just struggling and
Yeah.
did that for a long time and I'm finally getting out of it. So
What's the biggest change you think should be made in food advertising? We actually talk about this on the show a lot. Leanne's sister is a food stylist in LA, works for a lot of the big agencies that, does like your McDonald's or your Burger King shoots like that. So we're always going back and forth about this kind of truth and labeling stuff.
Yep.
But what do you think should be biggest change should be?
I think it needs to be actually marketed as it really is, not putting out there a product that it looks this way, but you'll never ever get it that way.
Oh, hell no.
I mean, that's what they do. I mean, everything, when you look at how they actually go about the marketing side of a lot of those burgers and different things like that. I mean, it's built, but it's all fake stuff and they make it look exactly perfect. And you go in and it's not even close.
I was on a Burger King shoot years ago. This was in LA. And they brought in 2 semis full of food. And the stylists were picking, I mean, they must have had 3,000 burger patties pre-made, like that. But they went through and picked, I don't remember, 3 or 5, whatever they wanted. And they had some backups there, and they cooked them, and they were slicing tomatoes, not by hand, but they have a machine. And then they were picking the perfect slices and the perfect pieces of white onion and lettuce. And then you couldn't eat any of it because it'd kill you with all the shit they put in that and sprayed on it. And, I thought, well, they put a little oil or water on it. Well, yeah, they did that too, but there was hairspray and varnish and all this stuff on it. And I was like, yeah. So, okay. Boxers, briefs, or thongs? Talking about your personal wear, not somebody else's.
You don't have commando in there?
If you want, commando. Yeah. That's kind of my style, but I never wanted to share that on the air before. So
now you did.
Okay. Yeah. See, you brought the best out of me. What can I say? Jason?
I like the boxer brief, the ones that are real, that keep you in place.
Yeah.
I like a lot of support down there.
Yeah. You don't want to get out of place.
No.
Especially after you gave women the right to vote, right? You don't want to... All right. Shane?
I'm boxers.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Tom?
Free.
There you go. There you go. We actually had a couple ladies that we've interviewed that said, because I thought they would have gone for thong or something, They were like, nothing. I was like, okay. This is an obvious question. You guys consider yourself sweatshirt or formal wear type guys?
A sweatshirt for sure.
Yeah, okay. Adele, Dolly Parton, Celine Dion, or Dire Straits?
Dire Straits.
Okay. What's one thing you miss about your 20s?
I have to remember them.
Yeah.
Kind of all the traveling I did, Army. So I was in Germany a lot in my 20s.
Yeah. I just remember being able to get up in the morning, no matter how short the time period was in bed, and not hurt that much.
Yeah, exactly. The pain freeze was nice.
Yeah, the pain free was really good. Your favorite classic movie, and I give you an example. Mine is Casablanca. It's an old classic movie.
Jeremiah Johnson.
There you go.
It's not really classic yet, but Shane, Brokeback Mountain.
Damn it.
Oh shit.
I'll tell you a story about that while Jason's thinking about what his favorite classic movie is back there, because I know he's got that thinker pose going on.
Magic Mike for him.
Magic Mike. Yeah, there you go. One of the owners, the original founders of Painted Hills Natural Beef, who I've been working with for years, we were in a meeting, a group of people, and this is Mrs. Homer. Her and her husband started this thing, and somebody said something about Brokeback Mountain, and she goes, "That's not a cowboy movie. The goddamn Sheepherder's movie," or something like that. And I busted out laughing, and she was serious though, and so I kind of had to go, "Oh, okay," like that. But she was pretty determined to get that point across there. So listen, Magic Mike back there, did you come up with a movie for me?
I'm a big comedy fan, so something like Blazing Saddles would be, something like that, probably.
Yeah. Shane?
I don't know, man. I would say The Sandlot, but I don't know if that's a true classic to you guys.
Well, it can be a classic to you. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's classic to me. But...
Yeah. I saw a meme the other day, Jason, that said if they were going to show All right, to say Blazing Saddles is going to air tonight, but it's been edited for TV. It's going to air between 7:02 and 7:04.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. What would be your last meal if you were on death row?
Tacos.
Tacos?
I'm gonna say king crab.
There you go. Are you gonna say black olives or green olives, Shane? I mean, what?
Yeah.
Philly cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak. All right.
Figured glizzies.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are way too much fun.
Oh, God.
Tom, Jason, and Shane, thanks, buddies. I enjoyed talking to you a lot. It's been a lot of fun. Congratulations on your calls at the Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be checking in with you to see how you're doing and how you're progressing over the course of this next year. And good luck all winter, because I know it's this bright, sunny 29 degrees there today, but when it drops, 45 below, I'll be thinking about you,
All right.
because I'll probably go to Arizona. So anyway, thanks, guys. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week with another edition of After Hours here on Barbecue Nation. Until then, take care, have fun, go out and cook something, do a good job with it, and most of all, turn it, don't burn it. Take care, everybody. Cool.